All right, let's do this one. Okay, so this one was a question that we attempted also, is for grade 10. Okay, so they're saying we must find the value of x given that 4x squared minus 3x minus 1 divided by 4x plus 1 plus x cubed plus x cubed plus 1 divided by x squared minus x plus 1 is equal to 2. So they say we must find what is x. Okay, so this looks very complicated. Where is the complicated part? Okay, everything looks complicated here because you've got this complicated part here, and that complicated part you must add it to another complicated part, and the answer is 2. So that, when you look at it face value, very complicated, but in truth this is the easiest question. So to solve this question, you need to pull your toolbox. You must have a toolbox. In mathematics, you cannot just solve mathematics without your toolbox. You must have a toolbox. You must have a box of tricks where you pull up your tricks, you pull up your tools, and then you solve it. But what is the examiner? What is the examiner looking for? What do they want to know about you? They want to see if you know something. The first thing is, to solve this problem, you need to know a few things. The first thing, they want you to know if you can simplify, if you can make it simple, make the complicated look simple. So that is part of simplify, make it simple. But in this type of question, when you see x squared, x cubic, how are you going to make it simple? One method that we know to make expressions simple, look simple, is to do factorization, to factor. You need to find factors. Same. If they give you a complicated question to say 325 divided by 5, to make it simple, this thing, you can actually factor. You can see a 25 there, you can see a 300 there. Okay, so it's actually 300 divided by 5 plus 25 divided by 5. That's what it means. So it means 300 plus 25 divided by 5. That's what it means, which you can simplify to say 300 divided by 5 plus 25 divided by 5. You are making it simple. Okay, but going back to our question, let's go back to our question. So these are the tools that you must have when they give you a complicated thing. The first thing that must come to your mind is, let me simplify. And one method to make things simple is to know how to factorize. Okay, so you have to know how to factorize. Then you make your things simple, you have to know how to factorize. Okay, once you can factor things, for example, this is already in a factor format, but this begs you to factor. This is begging you to say factor me. That's what it's telling you, to say factor me. This also begs you to factor me. Okay, so there are many ways of doing factors. So you have to factor. Once you factor, once something is dividing like this and you factor, you find that you find something that looks like this, then you can easily cancel it. Also, when you factor here, you find that there's something that looks like this complicated thing, then you divide it, it becomes 1. So that's why, given something complicated, think of saying, let me make it simple. How do you simplify? One method is to factorize. There are many methods, but one of them that you must, when given an expression, is to ask yourself, can I find some factors? Okay, and then in most cases, look at something that looks more complicated. If you look at this section, what looks more complicated is the top part. When you look at this section, what is more complicated is the top part. So you're going to concentrate on factorizing the top part. Okay, then apart from that, also when it comes to factors themselves, you must have another toolbox. When it comes to factors, you must have a number of toolboxes. One of them is the difference of two squares. Okay, difference of two squares. That one we always note it by saying, given an expression where they say x squared minus y squared. Okay, this is you can easily put a 2 and say, oh, difference of two squares, therefore it's x minus y times x plus y. That's a difference of two squares. See, so you must have these two boxes in your head. Then the other two that you must always have at this level of your education is to know the sum of cubes. The sum of cubes. With the sum of cubes, it says, given an expression that x cubic plus y cubic, you can easily make this a factor. So this is a 2. You just pull it and you use it. So this 2 says, you can easily say, given this, your factors are always x plus 1 times x times x. Okay, it will be times x squared minus xy plus 1. That will always be your answer given sum of cubes. So let's use these things quickly and see what's going on. Okay, so let's go back to our question. We said the top one is complicated here, so we're going to factorize it, and we're going to factorize that one as well, the top part. So on this one here, we did it. That's why every examination they start you with simple questions like factor, and then they say simplify. It's because the next question after that, the next set of questions after that, you must use the factors and simplify. That's why in an exam they'll say factorize and then they say simplify. The next one, you must think on your own that you must use factorize and simplify. So here in our head we're going to factorize. By doing that we're going to simplify. So look at this. This, how can it be factored? We spoke about this. You take the coefficient of x squared, you multiply it with a constant. In this case your answer is 4. Then you look at 4 and you say what numbers can go into 4. If I multiply them, they will give me 4. But if I add them or subtract them, they will give me the coefficient of x, which is minus 3 in this case. So yes, what goes into 4 is minus 4 times 1. So minus 4 times 1, it gives you 4, for example. Or you can just say 4, but remember that the sign here must be, okay, let's just say 4. 4 times 1 is 4. But I must arrange these two in such a way that they will give me minus 3x. So definitely it's minus 4x plus 1x. That gives me minus 3x. So I have to rewrite the top as 4x squared minus 4x plus 1x minus 1. Okay. Then all this divided by 4x plus 1 plus, what is this? This, what is this? Okay, this is what we've been talking about, the sum of cubes. Why is it the sum of cubes? Okay, it's the sum of cubes because x is cubic plus 1. 1, what is 1? 1 can be written as a cubic as well. Okay, 1 can be written as a cubic. Therefore, indeed, it is a sum of cubes, because x cubic plus 1 cubic. Though you don't see it, but you know 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. So they just want to put a trick on you to see, do you really understand these things? So you see a cubic there, x cubic plus 1, you think it's just 1, but in your, somehow on your tools there you must think, oh, 1 can also be written as 1 cubic. Therefore this is a sum of cubes. So this is the x part and this is the y part, and when you look at our toolbox we get this to say that's what must be written. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to factorize the sum of cubes using the method that is here. This is the sum of cubes, so we're going to use that. So this is good. Therefore we just say, they say you must take x and then say plus 1 or plus y. So the y here is 1. So in this case also I was supposed to say y here and y here, because this is how you factorize it. It says given a cube plus another cube, you say that variable there, that number plus that number in brackets, and then times the first number there squared minus x and y plus the y. So what we're going to do, so we're going to write that. Then here what is our first variable is x cubic, then minus x times y. So here's x times 1, so it's actually x. And then they say you must add the y side. The y side here is 1, so we add 1, and then all this is divided by x squared minus x plus 1. Okay, so here remember there was a 1. Then all this is equal to 2. All this is equal to 2. Okay, so let me just finalize here. So here, if you do a factorization here, remember 4x. So you're going to group these things in this way, and this will be your other group to factorize after you did that step. So obviously here you see 4x is common here, so you're going to say 4x is common. 4x squared divided by this 4x that is common, you get x, minus 4x divided by 4x is 1. We say plus what is common this side. Okay, so if you look here, there's 1x minus 1. What is common is 1. 1 into 1x is x. 1 into minus 1 is minus 1. Okay, so this actually you can factor out. You can see this and this can be grouped together for x plus 1. That was this one and this one, times x minus 1. Okay, and that's what we are going to write on top. It will be 4x plus 1, x minus 1 over 4x plus 1 plus x plus 1, x squared minus x plus 1 over x squared minus x plus 1, or this is equal to 2. And beyond, what do we see? What we see is this is exactly the same like this, so it goes is 1. Then we see this is exactly the same like this, it goes is 1. Finally, what we have x minus 1 plus this is remaining, so this x plus 1 remains, and this is remaining. X plus 1 is equal to 2. Then you just have to remove brackets. This will be plus x, that one will be plus 1. Here also there's a 1, multiply that, it will be x, multiply that minus 1, so it's x minus 1 plus x plus 1 is equal to 2. If you group things together, x plus x is 2x, minus 1 plus 1 is 0, so you don't write it. So 2x is equal to 2. Next step, this is also equal to 2x. You divide by 2 is equal to 2 divided by 2. Then you can do a division, it's 1, it's 1. Therefore, x is equal to 1. Done. Let me know if there's any questions, but that's how you do it. The main lesson we have here is to look at the problem. If it's complicated, simplify it. And one method for simplification when it comes to expression is to factorize. Then after you factorize, when you want to do the factorization, you must have your tricks, your tools of tricks. Those you must put them in your brain. So what you have on your factorization tools, the quickest is to look at an expression and say, can I use the difference of two squares? Can I use the sum of cubes? And then can I just use the normal factorization process? You must have those in